Hi, Seshu. Hi, ma'am. Good evening. So
Evening.
nice to see you.
No,
Fine, thank you. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. I'm good.
Very nice. Can you just take the mobile to yours a little? Yeah, a little. No, 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 not so much. Yeah, that much is enough. No, 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 no. Don't turn your mobile, ma'am. Yeah, that's good. No. What a lovely dressing. I can see you. Thanks, Eshu. Ma'am, you can bring it down. I love your beads, ma'am. The beads are not to be seen. A little back you can go.
Back,
And then
front.
little the phone should be a little down. Yeah. Little towards your side. Yeah.
Is it better?
No, ma'am, you must have it towards your side.
नारायण कुछ तो यहाँ पे रखना किताबें वगैरह कुछ.
Now it was okay and again it went off. Now I could see your sari and your chain.
Only you can see my sari, not face.
No, your face also, including the face. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, no, ma'am, I can't see your forehead. Yes, go back. Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am, this is perfect. Bharat, my husband says hi to you. And yes, we've got good viewers already. Now, should we wait for a while or shall we start, ma'am?
Whatever. I am. People
Yeah.
have already come. Some people have already come. We can start.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Hi. Good evening, each and everyone. Today, we have with us Madam Srimati Chandrakanta Gariali. Yes, a former IAS officer who has been a patron and servant of the arts in the state, apart from her service in the administrative side as a collector. She has been in the National Service of Administration. She has carved a niche for herself in the fields of literature, social work, and women's studies. She is an author and questions the most relevant subjects. A woman who empathizes with warmth and an art lover who has worked for the upliftment of art and artists. I'm indeed honored, my dear ma'am, to welcome you this evening to our Tejas Instagram conversation this Saturday. And also, my dear audience, they say talent is a gift, but character is a choice. The only ones who will be really happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve. And this is our dear Gariali ma'am, affectionately that we call her. And now all of us are waiting, ma'am, to hear your yatra, your journey in this beautiful field with your multi-talented profile of yours. I would like you to tell every one of us about your journey being an IAS officer, because I can call you from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, born as a Kashmirian there, and you are serving in Chennai, of course, other than the national also, but now you're here. Of course, we will talk about everything later because we have more than one hour time. So I would like you to start from your Kashmir Valley, how you came down to Chennai and how you had the roots again from Chennai. Please, over to you, my dear ma'am.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much, Srikala, my dear. And I'm sure there are a lot of dancers maybe on the audience.
Yes.
Hello to everybody. They're all very dear to me.
Yes.
And I love all of you. Lots of love.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, I was born in Kashmir and in Srinagar, in my grandmother. You know, that was the custom. The women had to go to their mother's house to deliver the child.
Yes,
So my
yes,
mother
yes.
went to her mother's house, and I delivered the child. And those days deliveries used to be at home. So I was delivered in there used to be a closed courtyard in the house, and the deliveries
Okay.
be done there, not inside the house. It's a little bit outside, but not entirely outside, close to,
Okay.
and on the mud floor, on a mat made of grass, so that
Oh,
there were no Indian doctors then, so the English doctor came home and delivered me, and
oh, sweet.
on the, on the mud floor, and then women had to remain on that mat. Okay, they will change the mats on that mud floor for 40 days, because till all the fluids went into the Mother Earth, they were there. And that 40 days pollution was over, then they will, with the cow dung, they will plaster the floor of the courtyard
Oh,
again, and it
acha.
was pure. So 40
Okay.
days purity. So it was like old customs has gone like that. But very soon, that was 1948 when I was born. And in 47, there was a lot of turmoil in the country. People were moving back from Pakistan. People were moving. There was some riots in Kashmir. The Afghan raiders had come in and killed a lot of people.
Oh.
And so at that time, also many families left for other parts of India. And my family left Kashmir after what we call the Kabaili Hamla. That was the
Kabaili?
Kabaili Hamla. Actually, it was Pakistani army, but they put in front some Afghans as if it was people who are coming and raiding. But their army also wore those kind of clothes, and
Huh.
they followed. And because Maharaja refused to accede to Pakistan, so Jinnah sent his
Ma'am,
army.
1 minute. I love one Mr. Kannadasan has written, I love Mylapore Vasantotsav because of Garyali, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
I would be reading some of the compliments because they won't be saved in our conversation, okay? You
Okay.
please continue, ma'am. Continue.
Please, please. I would love to hear who is saying what. So, so my family moved to Delhi. So we were brought up in old Delhi. So we become like Delhiites, speaking
Oh,
good Hindi and mingling with the Agarwals and Guptas and Jains and the old Delhi, also the Muslim population who spoke a lot of Urdu, and so we were brought up in that milieu, and then we grew up. Now, I never wanted to be a IAS officer or anything. I like every little child gets enamored by the teachers. So I wanted to become a teacher because I loved some.
okay.
Everybody wants to become a teacher.
And did you choose a subject to be which teacher or which subject?
Just the teacher. And then
General
I felt
teacher.
Then I was about 10, I felt sick. I got typhoid. And those days, typhoid was a big deal. And I was
Yes,
admitted in
it
hospital.
was.
It was not getting better. So about 3 weeks, it was a typhoid used to be either 1 week or 3 weeks or 3 months. It used to be that long.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
was 3 weeks in hospital, and these nurses were looking after me. Then I wanted to become a nurse.
Oh,
I
because they
thought
were
nurses
looking
were
after you.
wonderful. So my life went on like this. So finally, I did become a teacher, and I was teaching in a village school in Delhi, a school at the outskirts of Delhi near Qutub Minar, Mehroli, where Qutub
Yes,
Minar
ma'am,
is.
but what had you
Village.
done in your academics for you to become a teacher so early?
I became teacher so early because I just finished my school, and we had a family friend who was vice principal of teachers training college.
Okay.
So he came and convinced my parents that after school, if I joined there for 2 years, and immediately on when I come out, I'll get a job.
Acha, okay.
They didn't know. I mean, jobs will be given in hand the day you pass the
Ma'am?
part of Delhi, the sort of semi-rural parts where girls were still not going to school. There was a lot of backwardness. So anybody who came out was given an appointment letter. So he convinced my parents. Then I said, no, I want to study. So then they convinced me, you joined, the newly developed correspondence institute had developed in Delhi University, had started correspondence courses. So they said, you do this also, you're so bright. So I joined graduation in correspondence and teachers training full time.
Wow. Ma'am, my God, we come to know more of your multi-talent.
So two years I studied and then got appointment letter in hand to go and work in a village school near Qutub Minar. It was called the village Rangpuri. Now it has become a part of, very much part of the city of Delhi. It has got malls and everything. That time it was a just sleepy little village. And I had to take 2 buses to reach there. And
Really?
yes, if I took 1 bus, then I had to walk 3 miles to the village.
Achoo.
If I take 2 buses, then I have to walk 1 mile.
Okay.
But if I took 2 buses, then it was a longer route and took longer. If I took the route of 1 bus, it is only 50 minutes in bus and then three
Man,
miles of
no wonder they say the more you work hard, the luckier you get. That is how you are giving an inspirational news to all of us.
I was only 18. I could run 3 miles, those days.
Yes,
And
yes, I understand age was on your side. Yeah.
but after school, 45 minutes it used to take if we
Okay.
leisurely walked also. 15 minutes for a mile for young people.
Okay.
So that was a good walk. Now, what happened in that school? Girls were not coming. The Jat community was living there. The Jats were very backward at that time, and they're very chauvinistic. They never educated their women. They kept them suppressed. They never educated their daughter. They got them married very young. So we had a very feisty Punjabi headmistress. He said, we must get the children into the school. Now you all teachers go to the village and go door to door and convince the mothers to send the girls to school.
Okay.
Door to door drive. And when we went to the homes, so we asked mother, please send your daughter to school. He said, who will do my housework? Will you feed my children? Behanji, will you cook my food? Teacher, will you do this?
They asked you such questions, man.
They were holding us. We were only 18. They were older women. They had children, and they said, "Who will feed the younger brothers? Who will look after younger brothers? I am going to work. Who will cook in the house?" So 8 years, 10 years old girls were cooking in the house, looking after younger brothers and all that. We got a good shelling. Then we went to see the village headman.
Okay.
We'll tell that he should send the girls to the school. And he also gave a bigger shelling. He said, why can't you mind your own business? These girls.
Oh, God.
So I was just thinking, there's no point being a teacher because we thought we go and work in a village school, we change the village. We get children into schools, we teach mothers to be, we teach health, hygiene and all that. And then I realized it doesn't work. 18-year-old and everybody's scolding you and nobody's listening to you.
Exactly.
And it's not going to help. So what should I do?
It's no use, you would have thought. Yeah.
So I realized, by the time I finished my graduation also, so I thought I should become a social worker.
Oh,
So social worker can do much more. They can go to village, they can change the social change, they can do the advocacy, they can do this and that. So I resigned. I told my father, enough is enough. I finished my graduation. I'll go for my post-graduation now. So I resigned from my job, went to post-graduation to do MA in social work from Delhi University.
Okay.
So college, full-time college. And I really enjoyed it. I was very happy. And what happened there? Something very different happened. I was thinking of becoming a social worker. Then I was doing field work in a Harijan Basti, where the scheduled caste people lived, the scavengers. They were all community of scavengers. They had a separate quarters where they lived, and their daughters and sisters and wives were there. I was working with women. And these all men were the employees of
Excuse me, ma'am. Somebody is, Var Sharumulu is saying, Vanakkam, ma'am.
Vanakkam. So this Harijan Basti, the scavenger colony, which was scavengers, they were all men who were employees of Delhi Municipal Corporation, corporation employees. But they were very clever. They never went to work because work was very dirty those days. It was manual scavenging. You have to literally go to a latrine, scoop the human feces with a spatula, put it in a tray, put it on your head and carry head loads.
Oh my God, it's really.
So all their wives and sisters had to do it. It was very unfortunate. They went to office only once in a month to get the salary, drank their salary, ate their salary, and the wives and sisters were working. I was working with this very marginalized group of women as a student social worker, and I was feeling upset. And these women had such a poor self-esteem because they thought we are stinking. So sometimes these trays, will be broken, and the feces will be dripping into their
Yeah,
face.
I understand.
And they thought they were the most dirtiest creatures on earth. Which man will ever touch them? They're such poor, they were depressed, they were idle. It was so miserable they were in their hearts. Then, we worked on them. I said, come and have bath every time, change your dress. We went to government asking that you should not allow people to take head loads. We should have give them wheelbarrows, blah, blah, blah. We did all those things. Well, where things happened very slowly. Only now, I think after so many years, we have sort of almost got rid of manual scavenging in the country.
Yes.
But that were the people who went on lobbying and things like that. So that what happened, there was some handicapped person in that locality who needed some help. So one day I thought, okay, there are schemes, Delhi government has got schemes. There is a director of social welfare. I'll take this person there and I'll see whatever scheme he fits in, will give him some help. So I went, cutting my college, taking this person, handicapped person, great difficulty in a bus, going for several hours, going to that office, waiting there for a couple of hours. Then that man sees it and he does nothing for us. Very upset. I said, my God, why is this man sitting here? He is director of social welfare. That day I thought, should sit there. I should become director of social welfare. I should help people. That's how the seed of them writing the IAS
Ma'am,
exam.
excellent, ma'am. Excellent, ma'am. Excellent. And you did it. And you did it. You proved.
Yeah, but because see, the thing is the evolution. You are not born with the idea you have to become an IAS officer. You are born with the idea, whatever you see in a young man, somebody wants to become.
That's true. But when did you enter the administrative service? Finally, after this,
So I got this awareness that this is where you can do some things, where you can make changes, not as a.
So that you need to do a administrative service exam, right? Yeah.
Then I started preparing, studying, and all that kind of thing, and then I wrote my exam. Same year I wrote my exam, and I finished my MA previous year, and next year I wrote my exam and I passed. And I did well. I was about 30th rank. My rank was about 30. It was not too bad, it was about.
Excellent. 1,000. It's very good, ma'am. And then when did you, after MA means, after your MA only you have to take the IAS examinations?
Yeah, but when I finished my MA from Delhi School of Social Work, there was also a tradition that if you pass your MA, come first in the university, you are immediately given an appointment letter. So here also, the day I passed my, I went to check my result. I went to check my result in the college, and when I was at notice board with my friends looking, and my principal called me and he handed me over an appointment letter. That was a tradition of our Delhi School of Social Work. If whichever student comes first, he is given immediately an appointment. So I was given the job of research assistant. And it was my first encounter with a South Indian because my principal investigator was one Mr. Iyer.
That's very nice, ma'am.
Pashupati Nath Iyer.
Pashupati Nath Iyer. So nice.
Mr. Iyer was a fantastic man, and he was an Iyer who spoke no Tamil. Was born in UP, in Nepal. It was called Pashupati because of that, temple of Shiva. But he was very good mentor for me. He taught me a lot of good research and all that. So I worked there for a year, and I started preparing for my exam. And in the meanwhile, after 1 year, I got a job in ICMR, in All India Institute of Medical Sciences,
yes,
as a research officer, junior research officer.
Research officer in which subject, ma'am?
In psychiatric social work.
My daughter-in-law says Namaskaram, Dr. Garyali ma'am. She's
Namaskar.
my daughter-in-law, Richa Seshadri.
Hello, hello, hi, hi.
Hi, ma. Yeah, she's from Kolkata, ma'am. Actually, my daughter-in-law. She's a Tamil
Oh, very
Indian from Kolkata.
so nice.
And by the way, today is my son's and daughter-in-law's wedding anniversary.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Okay, ma'am. Continue.
Wedding anniversary.
Thank you. I'll tell them.
So,
Nice to see you, madam, and Shrikala. Who is Ravi? Hey, your brother? Is that Ravi?
I don't know that is him or it's any other Ravi, but there is some nice Ravi. Thank you,
Oh,
Ravi.
now why will he call you madam? My daughter-in-law is thanking you for your kind wishes.
Richa Sheshadri. Huh.
Yeah, Richa Abhishek. Abhishek is my
Abhishek.
son's name.
Yes,
Seshadri is her father. Yeah.
So I joined in the All India Institute as a research officer working with the head of the department. He was a Sardar.
Ma'am, Ravi TTDC, he says.
TTDC, yes. He used to work with
I
me.
know. Mr. Ravi, hi.
You know Ravi TTDC, you know.
Yes, yes. You know, for the Mahabalipuram festival and all, we've danced because of, yeah,
course.
he used to be the
Ravi.
officer, the then
Lovely.
officer.
My special boy, Ravi. Thank you, Ravi. So I was working with the Sardar Ji, who was a professor of psychiatry in All India Institute. And a fantastic man. He was a poet, he was a great scholar, he was a philosopher, he was the chief of psychiatry. And we did a very pioneering research project. Both of us were already doing. He was doing and I was his research officer. And it was a very path-breaking thing because that time it was not known that when people are, saying they're having stomach ache, they're having arthritis, they're having skin irritation, they're having so many, and they're having again and again gynecological issues, and they're getting operated again and again. But actually, these are all psychological issues. So there was a study done in England, and they wanted to do a similar study in India. So myself and Professor Neki, we did that study, psychiatry in general practice. It was called
Psychiatry?
In general practice. So general practice cases, how much percentage are actually needing psychological help and psychiatric help? That so that they can be referred. Till that time there was no referral, they were going on struggling. Pain here, pain there means 1 operation, 2 operations. There were women who had 4 operations, but there's nothing really gynecologically wrong with them. So those kind of things. So people have headaches, people have depression, but depression is causing arthritis, depression is causing heart issues. So, but that depression needs to be treated for them.
Yes.
It was a fantastic study which I did for a year. That time I was also writing my IAS exam. So actually I worked till the last day. And only on the day of exam I used to take leave because we have to submit this project. We have to fit it. So whichever day I had exam, I will take leave from professor, I'll write my exam. Next day I will come to hospital. But the hospital had a very lovely library. The first health minister of India was Rajkumari Amrit Kaur.
Rajkumari?
Amrit Kaur.
Okay.
Rajkumari Amrit Kaur was princess of Patiala.
Wow.
Maharaja Patiala's daughter. And her ancestor, the great ancestor was Maharaja Ranjit Singh of Punjab, the Lion of Punjab. So that descent, so Patiala family. So Rajkumari, she never married. And so when she, in her old days, she gave away her personal books, all her personal books. Because she was health minister, she had a special corner for All India Institute. So she gave all her books, all her personal library to the Institute library. So Institute, fantastic history, geography, sociology, humanities, English literature. I mean, more than anywhere else, beautiful collection of books.
Beautiful.
So I, in a medical college library, I could study for IAS.
Wow. How God blessed you, I think.
4 o'clock my work used to get over. I used to go to Institute library, which were open till 7 or 8, and study there for 4 hours, then go home. So in spite of working full time, I just studied there. And this beautiful library, I can tell you. The Rajkumari Amrit Kaur also gave a personal house in Shimla. She had a house in Shimla. He gifted it to Holiday Shoot, and it is their guest house in Shimla.
Fantastic. Okay.
So, so then I wrote my exam, I passed and all that, joined. But I met my husband there in Holiday Shoot.
Acha.
So that is another thing, because I went to work.
Because he's a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
He's a psychiatrist. He was student of the professor with whom I was working.
Dr. Rajkumar.
Next to each other in the outpatient. He had a room in outpatient, I had a room in outpatient. So we used to, and he somehow tried to,
Propose you.
I told him, no, I cannot marry in South Indian. I cannot be friendly
Oh,
with
really?
Try
Did
to
you say that to him?
Never. My parents, those days things were very conservative. It was 1970.
Okay.
1970, how many years ago? More than 50 years ago.
Yes.
I said, nothing doing, don't even come near me anywhere. I'm studying, I have no time to talk also. I won't even go down to canteen with him, though I'll go with other doctors. I will avoid him.
He would have felt so hurt.
But he did not give up. He was persisting. And I said, then finally I saw he was so sincere, so persistent. I told him, look, my parents will never agree. So don't even go there. Because every day they used to teach us, you have to marry only a Kashmiri. You have to marry only
Yeah, those days I can
You have to
understand.
marry only a Tamilian. There'll be indoctrination going on. So I said, they just not agree. So this man told me, no, I will go and try, but you are not going to go and tell your parents that I am a rogue. A rogue, they won't even see me, but just, I said, I'll keep quiet. I'm not going to say you are a rogue and all that, and you are Buddha and all that. I will not say that. So he went and convinced them, in his own way.
That's really nice.
He was so cunning. He knows my mother used to go to Kali temple in Kalkaji on a particular day. So he went and met her in the temple.
That's good. He knew the right way.
Can you imagine how cunning these South Indians are? Sorry.
That's not cunning, man. He used his modus operandi, the psychiatrist.
Imagine she's coming out of the, temple. She's on the threshold of the temple, just coming out after having the darshan of Devi and coming prasadam in hand, and his man goes and falls on her feet at the threshold of the temple.
I wish doctor is listening in Australia.
Found something in her lap, that kind of thing. Poor thing, she was so innocent. She thought, oh, Bhagwan ne kuch bheja hai. So God has. So immediately, then she went and spoke to her, and she just did not say anything. And then for my father, he knew my father used to go for evening walk to Gandhi Samadhi, Rajghat. It was not far from our house. So every evening, my dad used to go to Rajghat. He went and met him in Rajghat at Gappa.
Ma'am, how much of true love he has for you?
And my father also, Gandhi ji ke samadhi ke paas aake ko aise bola. My father just couldn't say anything, and the only thing he says, my daughter can. Immediately, my father started crying.
Oh God, how sweet.
He realized that this man won't give up and my daughter will go so far, and he started crying. He didn't reply. My father was just crying. So this man understood. He said, no, whenever you want to see your daughter, I'll send her with flight. He'll never go by flight.
No, ma'am, I would like to ask you, doctor had his, already, started his practice in Chennai, is it at that time?
Yeah, he, after completing.
Okay. So they knew that he's going to be stay put in Chennai. Okay.
Yes, because he said, I have to go back to Chennai because my parents are there.
Oh,
and
that's why they started crying.
The only son. And he was also adopted child, only son, parents. So he had that, obligation that he has to always stay with them. So anyway, So to Madras was the home for him. He had to come back.
That's
Anyway,
very
so
nice.
that's how it
But
happened.
I'm
And
sure, ma'am, after you came here, I don't think you would have gone so often to Delhi.
he did go.
No, you.
Yeah, I used to go because my parents were there.
Um,
I used to go, but then they started, they became ill. They were not well. Their health was
okay.
indifferent. Then I moved them to Chennai
That's
because my
nice.
parents were living in India. They were somewhere. Parents were alone. They were getting sick. And I was getting very upset. And I was not getting enough leave from my office. Nobody allowed me to
Yeah,
go. And if
yeah,
I went to
yeah.
Delhi, I could go only for 1 or 2 days. And going those days, we couldn't afford to go by flights.
Very true, very true.
It used to take me 1.5 days to go, 1.5 days to come. 2 days there and 1 week is over.
That's all. Yes,
So,
yes.
so my husband said,
Very
why
true.
bring them here? They can live here. And I said, they won't live with us. They're very old-fashioned, conservative. Listen,
Okay.
separately, but you can see them every day. I am a doctor. I can look after them. Our colleagues are there. So I somehow then moved my parents in 1979 to Chennai. And then they lived here till they passed away.
Very nice.
My mother was alive till 2012. And,
Okay.
she was
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
law-
Talking about your mom, she was the one who started that Saraswati Educational and Cultural Trust, right?
Yes.
Srimati Indira.
Yes. See, my
Because my
parents.
mother's name is also Indira.
Yes. See, the thing is, my father was a freedom fighter, and my mother was a very helpful was a social worker in her own right. Even when we were living in Delhi, she used to do a lot of work. I've always seen her doing. We had a blind school near us, so regularly she will call the children to eat in our house.
How
So
sweet.
children there, and they will all come, and she will cook food herself. She'll
So
make
sweet.
food, aloo, halwa, everything. Not that they're buying and just giving some sapad. They will bake and they will serve. They'll make the children sit. And that kind of service she used to do. She will go to this home, and my mother was not educated, so she could not take classes and all. I used to say, Mom, what are you doing there? In the blind school, what do you do? What kind of service you do? She said, the small children, they don't know how to take bath. I give them bath.
Oh, so sweet.
And she said, children, because they're so clumsy, they can't see, they keep breaking their buttons. I sew the buttons on their shirts.
Oh, God. She used to do it? How
She
nice.
used to do it. And so that was so lovely. And I've never seen that anybody came to our house, even if a postman came to deliver the letter, he was given water or cup of tea or if there was anything.
Ayo, ma'am, those were the days, ma'am. These days we do not know who's good and bad, no? How sweet of your mother.
Postman is a government servant, but now, but what has happened? Delhi used to get very hot in the summer, and at least you could give cold water to everybody.
Okay.
That was a culture.
Yes.
Because hot winds will blow in, particularly summer. You must ask water to everybody, water or sharbat or
Yeah.
to give. I mean, at least in our house we gave. So that absolute hospitality to anybody and everybody.
That's the hospitality, my grandparents, my parents, and my in-laws, all of them have said the hospitality of the elders will always do good for their children and grandchildren. That's really nice, ma'am. Then how did you people start that cultural organization?
No, she was doing it from, she was doing whatever, that she moved here. She started doing even more. She used to go to Sai Baba temple. She used to feed. Those days, there were leprosy patients used to sit outside Sai Baba temple.
Ma'am, even now they are there.
But they're very few. Those
Very
days,
few.
Hundreds and hundreds. My mother every Thursday used to feed them. And there again, she will cook home. She will bake such a big pot of sambar sadam and aloo and all that of puris, and then carry them with our, whatever domestic staff and our driver that to carry. And she will give that. She will buy something from market and give. Always
very sweet.
It herself. So she will regularly feed them and all that. Then the activities went on increasing. So then we registered a charitable trust in 1996.
Oh, very nice.
Because God is the presiding deity of Kashmir is Sharda, that is Saraswati.
So Saraswati Educational and Chat. Very nice. Ma'am, how many, Bharat? Ma'am, you've given opportunities to so many in that. And I think I have had the opportunity of having danced there 4 times. And in fact, you have even given me, oh, you've given me the award, the Lifetime Achievement for the contribution to Bharatanatyam. Look at this, ma'am.
Yes, we did it last year, didn't we?
Yeah, 2019.
Yes, because 20
You're
we
there,
did have-
Nagaswami Mama is there.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Very
this was, yeah.
beautiful.
And there's another photo with you. Your brother is there.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is the award where Bharatanatyam Kalamani
Hmm.
in Kapaleshwar temple. You know
Yes.
how I have, although, yes, I've got so many awards, but getting the award in the temple, that too, the Lord of the Dancers at Kapaleshwar temple, Chennai. My God, how divine and how blessed we feel. And so nice it was that day even Paduka had come for our Dasavataram. That was on May 12th, 2019. Because that July only we celebrated our milestone, no? 20 years of my dance school and 50 years of my dancing. So you were the one who gave me such a good recognition, ma'am. I'm always grateful. And ma'am, can we just imagine the days that we went to Japan, 1995?
That was fantastic.
I think that was fantastic, the way, because that was my first dance tour. And the way you were giving me so much of advice, and it was funful like what it is today. And you were so throughout the flight. There was not a little boredom for me. You were going, and there we had such, I think it was fun time because of Srimati Dr. Purnima Shastri. Here, we have to think about her for those days. And ma'am, then what about your books, ma'am? I would like you to tell about the books on Saraswati, the Kashmir Valley you have written, which has been launched very recently, ma'am, the book?
Yes, but before that, can I talk about you and our visit to Japan?
Please, ma'am, please. I would be so happy that you share it with all the audience.
Yeah, I have been very fortunate to work in Department of Culture, Department of Tourism, even being collector of South Harkat, where we started the Natyanjali festival along with the Dr.
Yes,
Nagaswamy.
ma'am. At Chidambaram, you only, started. Correct.
And then Mahabalipuram festival, I started in 92 with Madam Jayalalitha inaugurating it. It's still going on. It's very big now. And then we started our Kapaleshwar temple. But before that, I was in Department of Culture and Tourism. I mean, actually, this was one delegation where I also went along with dancers. But I have sent so many delegations to Mauritius, to South Africa, to many parts of the world. And I am very pleased for that. But this one, we got invitation that I could also go. But what I want to tell everybody that Sri Kala, and we had another young dancer along with her, they danced on a stage made of snow. So
yes,
cold,
ma'am.
so cold.
That was Sapporo Snow Festival. I did
Snow festival. The stage was
invocatory.
So that was wonderful. These girls, and then after they dance a bit, we'll run into a
auditorium.
Tent. There'll be warmth and there will be heaters burning, and we'll get hot soup to drink. Then again we'll come out. Yes.
Wow, such lovely days, nostalgic, no? And then Sapporo, remember, India got the 3rd place. I think they did a Pullayar, Vinayakar. The sculptures, I mean, they were taken from Mahabalipuram, right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, actually, you during the snow festival, you make the snow sculptures or snow buildings or snow icons. So we had taken our 2 dancers, and we have taken 2 sthapatis from Mahabalipuram.
Yes.
And they made a Ganesha.
Yes.
Made of snow. Beautiful Ganesha.
Made of snow.
On the road, everybody was stopping and saying, and we were being, and Sri Kala and all will explain, this is our elephant god and all that. Then
Yeah, very true. But ma'am, some other country had built Taj Mahal in the snow, ma'am. I don't remember which country.
many countries had. There were many Taj Mahals. If you see, there were small ones and big
Yeah,
ones.
there were so many Taj Mahals.
Yes.
But I think our Lord Ganesha got the third place, right? It was this also a competition.
Yes. So what happened when we made Lord Ganesha? Next day, there was big headlines in the newspapers. Lord Ganesha, monkey, no, elephant gods comes.
Elephant god.
Elephant god comes. So, and it was good fun. Everybody was. We used to stand next to the elephant god, and we had to answer questions of the people.
Yes,
stand-
yes.
It was good fun. And what
It was-
happened? We'd have won that. Our god was very good. It got a lot of television coverage, everything. But we didn't get a prize, But what happened? Our Satyavati's made a mistake. It was supposed to be, say, 14 feet high. They made it 14 feet high correctly. Then they put a Creedam on the top of it. Creedam went out of 14 feet. Our 14 feet செஞ்சுட்டு Creedam போட்டாங்க மேல.
Creedam ஒரு 3 feet.
Another 1 feet. So he became 15 feet. நம்ம சரியா தானே பண்ணோம். We made correct Creedam போட்டு we lost the prize. But what happened next year, they were again invited, and next year they made a Saraswati, goddess Saraswati with
Yes.
that, and they were very, very careful, and they made it correctly, so we got second prize next year.
Yes, yes. But it was really fun. It was only for about 10 days, but Mrs. Purnima Shastri made me stay. The other girl also left. Mrs. Purnima Shastri, that is my guru's niece was there, Meena. And my guru, Sarsa teacher's niece, had come with me. And the rest, she took me to all the tourist fair and made me dance at Hong Kong, Philippines, and Korea. Other than Tokyo, Japan. It was Seoul, Korea, Hong Kong, Philippines, and what was the other place? No, that's what, yeah, Hong Kong and Japan. I think that was so beautiful, ma'am. It was really nice. And ma'am, now you tell us about your work in literature.
Well, if
And
you
also,
want-
ma'am, you are a
my
founder
latest
trustee
book-
of an
my
NGO,
latest
right?
book- My latest book, which I just finished writing and which is just coming out, is about, it's called Kashmir, the land of Kashyapa, the saga of Kashmiri Pandits. If most of you
Okay.
know that in 1990, there was a lot of problem in the Kashmir Valley, and the fundamental Muslims, they did a lot of, looting and killing and murders and rapes and all that kind of stuff. And, the God-fearing people of, Kashmiri Pandits, they were forced to leave the place where they have lived for 5,000 years. Theirs is one of the oldest culture and oldest civilizations. Like, we say here, Ayers and Iyengar civilizations are 5,000 years old, because these are all Vedic civilizations. Now, those people who have been living there for 5,000 years are thrown out like that. So I wanted to do 2-3 reasons to like. One is to tell this story, because this was suppressed. This story was suppressed because, of course, government thinks if we tell this is happening, so many people have been killed in Kashmir, so many Hindus have, then there will be riots in the country, because other parts, there will be Hindu fundamentalists who will go and start killing Muslims then, and there will be a lot of riots. So they have suppressed the facts. But the thing is, a lot of injustice happened to these people, and many of them are still in refugee camps after 30 years of exile. We call it exile, exodus, and genocide, and all those things. And ethnic cleansing. Kashmir got totally devoid of any Hindu culture. All the temples were broken, and even earlier they have been destroyed by Muslim sultans and Aurangzeb and Afghan rulers. But now whatever was little remaining, that also got destroyed. So I wanted to tell that Kashmir was not always Muslim. People think it's a Muslim country, Muslim place, Muslim land. Till 14th century, it was totally Hindu place. It is a land of Kashyapa. Kashyapa Rishi is the one founder of Kashmir.
Acha,
And
acha.
yes, that
Oh,
is why
that's only Kashmir. I know only today.
Kashyapa's land, Kashmir, is the land of Kashyapa. So he is the founding father of this place. Actually, this place was a lake where the torso of the Sati had fallen. When Sati, when
Really?
Shiva carrying the dead body of Sati and dancing his Tandava all over the world, the body of the Sati fell in Kashmir, and that was a big lake was formed, which was called Sati Sar. So, so then the Sati Sir, there was a demon living there. And the
Acha.
Kashyap, yeah, with his prayers and his divine prowess, he then got the water of the lake was drained, which is a geologically correct fact. And they say the demon was hiding. He had the boon. Nobody could kill him under the water. So then the water drained away. The demon was killed. Valley came out, and then Kashyapa wanted to inhabited this beautiful valley with scholars and pandits and people who will be doing reading, writing, and that kind of, because atmosphere was so rarefied and pure. So that is how he brought people, migrated people from outside. He brought very distinguished people and settled them there, and they were our ancestors.
Okay.
Now, that being the background, and these people have contributed so much to the art, science, astrology, literature, yoga, everything. In fact, they say out of 26 treaties in Sanskrit, 24 were written in Kashmir. Only
Really,
two
ma'am?
remaining in India.
So nice.
And
That's
then
very nice.
this family of the Sangeet Ratnakar, no? Sarangdev, who was written Sangeet Ratnakar.
Huh.
That family came from Kashmir to Deccan because when the problem started there, this trouble started, so they left and they came and
Okay.
they came to the Yadava kingdom in Deccan. There he wrote his Sangeet, Sarangdev. He wrote his Sangeet Ratnakar there.
Wow.
Based on entire Carnatic Sangeet is based on that. So
Acha.
that was contributed from there. And if you see Padma Subramanian's thesis
Huh.
on Bharatanatyam, and she has said the earliest mention of Bharatanatyam in any script,
Very
comes from Kashmir.
Hmm.
Says that in 6th century, when king went to temple of sun in Martand, the temple dancers welcomed him with a dance. And this
Okay.
is written there, which she says there is no other mention of temple dancing before that period. So
Okay.
the oldest mention, she says, I don't say that it was born there or whatever, but oldest mention anywhere comes from Kashmir. So
Acha.
such a place, and we cannot forget our Hindu heritage, our Buddhist heritage. In fact, the maximum number of Buddhist missionaries who have gone to China, Korea, Japan, Cambodia, everywhere, they went from Kashmir.
Okay, lovely. Ma'am, so
More
informative.
than the total India, the Buddhist missionaries, the Pandits, including Brahmins and all, who took the message of Buddha, they have gone and they have spread it all over. And some of them are very, very well known, like Kumar Jiva, and there was one was a prince also, royal prince, Prince Gunavarna. They were all very distinguished. In fact, Gunavarma is the one who converted whole of Java and later Sumatra. Because of Java, Sumatra also got converted. The king itself got converted. So they're very distinguished missionaries who went from Kashmir. It was a tremendous contribution was made, especially in the field of astrology and so many other things.
Wow,
So,
ma'am. So
so
you
we,
what the essential what have you brought out in your book
I have
about the
brought out
pundits?
I have brought out the Hindu and Buddhist heritage. I have brought out our contribution, and I have brought out that it was not always a Muslim place. It's only after 14th century, and we should not forget our. And the people, even though they had to leave, they have come out, and they are in a very depressed state. They have to they have to realize who they are and where they
Yes,
come from,
yes.
and that should give them courage and strength to get over this crisis.
Very
And
nice.
I have also documented, because we have been uprooted, and the way our culture was, it was a little unique from rest of the India, though it is Hindu Brahmin culture, it's still unique. Firstly, we have number of festivals which rest of India doesn't celebrate. They were taken off when we came first to settle there thousands of years ago. They were
Okay.
local tribes, Nagas, Pishachas, Yakshas. They were living in Kashmir.
Acha.
And the local king of Nagas was Nil Nag. He gave us a code of conduct saying, you stay here, you do your, but you must follow their customs also. You must show respect to them. You must have Thanksgiving festivals. So we adopted all the festivals of Nagas and Yakshas and Pishas. And so we have so many extra festivals we rest of the India doesn't have. And we have this custom, especially in winter, keeping the food in the forest. Because probably
Keeping the food in the forest.
Forest and
What is the belief? What is the belief?
That is that these people were forest tribes, for the forest tribes. Because in winter food shortage would be there, they'll be stored.
Oh, sweet.
All our families will keep.
You're very correct, ma'am. It has never been covered on the social media at all, I think. All these festivals.
So we had all these customs which we are celebrating till now. But once we leave that place, it will be very difficult to celebrate these people. So I have written about all the customs, all our holy places. There were several universities in Kashmir. Okay. We are contemporary of Sharda University was contemporary of Takshila in the same region. Then we had another university in Vijay Vihar. We had a university, Buddhist university in Harvan in 1st century AD. And where the 4th Buddhist Council has happened.
4th Buddhist Conference.
Council, 4th, and that was the last. After that, there was no more. So 4th Buddhist Council under the patronage of King Harsha.
Really? Very nice.
In first century AD in Harvard.
Yes.
So these are when Nagarjuna came and presided over it, and other great scholars.
Really? Okay.
More than 12 years in Harvard University. He used to live there. So you see, there was such great scholarship there that I wanted to document these things. The posterity should know before we totally lose it. So I've made effort to document these things. I also documented the atrocities which started with 14th century.
Oh.
We had a very bad sultan called Sultan Sikandar who destroyed all our temples.
Oh my God.
This great sun temple at Martand, that's called Martand Sun Temple, which will not break. He could not break it. Okay. He took 1 year. He created a separate department for destroying the temple. There was a
no, but why did he destroy? In order to do what?
Islam is against idolatry. They don't want idol worship. They don't want temples. They think everybody's infidel. So for that reason, he wanted to destroy. And he was goaded with he had a mentor or Sufi saint who was goading him. So he came under his influence and he started destroying. Now when this temple did not break, he filled it with firewood and burnt it. And so that it get defaced and cracked and all. And for 1 year it was burning.
Very bad. Very bad.
They took all our books, scriptures,
and
manuscripts, threw them into Dal Lake.
Oh my God.
They put them into what? They made a bridge over it, They made a bridge where they filled up the place. First, like you put debris and all with the books, the holy books of Hindus and Buddhists. So that kind of thing. And then they killed people who did not convert. He put the tax, 4 tolas of Chandi if you want to visit your pilgrim place.
Okay.
And enormous amount of atrocity. Most of the people that is the time people started leaving Kashmir in 14th century. And they say the Mangalorean Saraswats in Mangalore, they came at that time from Kashmir. Their origin is in Kashmir, the Saraswats of South. Because Kashmiri Brahmins are Saraswats. So the other Saraswats, so Mangalorean Saraswat, they also look very much like fair and...
yes. But
and
Kashmiris are so beautiful. That's why you are such a beautiful woman. No, but ma'am, after all these atrocities, was it repaired? Was it settled well or no?
No, it went on. Atrocities went on. Then it will some sultan will do a little less. There won't be so much of forceful conversion, but it will be. See, this man's son was better. His son, when he died, his son took over.
Okay.
And son was very nice. He is the only one good Muslim ruler we had. His name was Zainab Abidin. So he would rebuild the temples. He invited people to come backward, left and gone. He said, please come back. Administration is difficulty. You people used to run the place. I'm not
Oh.
able to. He told people who have converted, if they want to reconvert, he can do. He
Acha,
allowed
that's
people.
nice.
He was damn good. He went to the extent of permitting people to go back to their old religion.
Okay.
And many people he converted at that time. And that was a different thing, that Orthodox people did not accept them. Imagine that. And then they became a separate group, but still within
Okay. Okay.
you know how the Brahmins are. So
Yeah.
he even permitted to reconvert, and he brought all the handicrafts to Kashmir from Persia. He had
Okay.
exposure to Persia. He brought carpet weaving, shawl making, embroidery, paper mache, all those handicrafts he brought to Kashmir from Persia and all. That's how we are making Persian carpets in Kashmir. Yes, he brought
I know.
he brought about 300 artisans from there, master craftsmen.
Wow.
Who then so it's a fantastic. He tried to renovate our temples which were broken, but the great temples could not be. Martand and all the small
Very
temples were. So there was the only good ruler. Again, after that, the big atrocities happened when Aurangzeb became the emperor of India.
Yeah.
He
Aurangzeb, I
started
know.
left conversions, killings, and all that. At that time, a delegation of Kashmiri Pandits went to see Sikh Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur.
Acha.
He was living in Anandpur Sahib. He was not Sikh Guru. Then he was, that particular Guru Parampara, Nanak Guru Parampara. He was the ninth Guru of that.
Okay.
And looked at Anandpur Sahib. He was a very great spiritual leader. So these people went, because where do they go? They went to him saying, you save us, you are the biggest spiritual person.
Naturally.
You please do something, emperor is doing. So he went to Delhi to meet emperor Aurangzeb. Emperor arrested him, arrested his associates. Then later on, he went on telling him to convert to Islam. The Guru did not agree. Finally, he boiled the Guru's two disciples in front of his eyes in hot water. They were boiling.
Oh my God.
Then finally he cut his head. Guru's head was cut. Head was cut in Chandni Chowk, in a place where there's a Gurudwara now. It is called Gurudwara Sheeshganj. Sheesh means head. It is in Delhi. If you go to Chandni Chowk, there's a big Gurudwara called Sheeshganj. The Guru's head fell. But Guru's disciples, somehow they took the head, they took the body. Then there is a place called Gurudwara Rakabganj and in New Delhi.
Okay.
So because they didn't want the body and head to get into their hands. So they took the body and took the hand and ran away. Some people took head and some people took body. The body was taken to this place. There was a disciple's house where the Gurudwara Rakabganj is there. The body was taken there. That man, not to create the suspicion, because he wanted to do Das Sanskar.
Okay.
So he kept the body there, burnt it. So that is where we have Gurudwara Rakabganj.
So you've covered all this in your book, ma'am?
Yes, I have covered. Because of those, the Guru, we are today, still some Hindus are alive. Because after Guru was killed, there was a lot of anarchy in the country. Then Aurangzeb had to little bit relent. Then his son became the 10th and last Guru, called Govind Singh. And Govind Singh he started the Sikhism. He created the Khalsa Panth, which was with the aim of protecting the religion.
Acha.
Sikhs were born to protect the religion, and they took the vow of keeping the hair and wearing the kada and keeping always a sword. So that is how the Khalsa was born. So we had recently 300 years of Khalsa. That is 300 years it was born because of the atrocities done on Kashmiri Pandits.
Oh my God.
So I have covered that also. So you see, atrocities continued. Then Afghan rulers, at that time the Afghans were totally bad. They were even doing atrocities on Muslims, but Hindus and Buddhists, they were they finished. They were even tying two people together and drowning them in Dal Lake.
Ayyo, what? We see all this in movies, ma'am?
Movies also, we can't see such things. They will put you in a sack and throw you in Dal Lake.
Oh my
That kind of
God.
Afghans have done. So much so that then one delegation went and met Maharaja Ranjit Singh and told them, "Can you please take over Kashmir?" So Ranjit Singh took over Kashmir, and then there was Sikh rule for a while. That's the
Okay.
atrocity. The
So
Sikh
again,
rule was.
some peace came. Hmm.
Then Sikhs were defeated by, there was first Sikh war, second Sikh war with British. Then Sikhs were defeated, British took over. Okay, British also were not doing any atrocities as such. But then they sold the territory to Dogras.
Okay. Who are
Dogra,
Dogras? Dogras.
Dogra, another community from Jammu, which are Rajputs. They're called
Okay.
Dogra. And so Dogras was the chieftains of Sikhs. So that they got the chieftain on their side, British, divided the Sikhs and the Dogra chieftain,
Oh.
and sold him the territory of Kashmir for very for a pretense. It's through the Treaty of Amritsar. So the Dogras became the king. Again, they were Rajputs and also the atrocities were not happening. So that is the period when there was some, this thing. But after independence, again, Article 370, the Sheikh Abdullah, the Muslim takeover, the atrocities on Hindus continued, and they culminated in the Exodus of 1990.
Okay.
And this is called seventh Exodus. If you start from the 14th century, the 7 times very bad things have happened. When
Oh my God. It is so touching, moving, man. Very touching. I mean, the way
even
you
I
are telling
say that
it's it
recent
is
past,
so.
1931, 1947, and 1990. That is 3 Exodus in a very, very recent modern times.
Oh my
Before
God.
Pakistan,
You brought you've narrated it so well. It is just in front of our eyes. The story that, the truth that you have told, you have authored, you've written in your book. Very, very nice, ma'am. Very nice and touching. It got launched in how many places, ma'am? Your book?
yeah, it is on Amazon because of COVID. We're not
COVID.
very large. It is selling on Amazon and the Kindle version.
Fantastic.
I have kept Kindle version very cheap.
Yes,
Only
yes,
99.
yes.
That I
Yes,
want a lot
yes.
of people to access it and
Yeah.
so please
Even
go
a
to
Kindle version, I think you must be having many people buying it.
yes, very easy. You can say C.K. Garyali, the Kashmir, the land of Kashyapa. You will get to the Kindle. It is only 99
Very
rupees.
good, my dear audience. Please listen to ma'am and get this Kindle version of this Kashmir to Kashyapa.
Yeah.
And
Kashmir,
then,
the
ma'am,
land
what
of
about
Kashmir.
the land of Kashyapa? What about your book on your educational and cultural trust, Saraswati?
Just the book on dance festival we are preparing now, because you know
Yes.
what, it's such a setback to us. The dance festival Vasant Utsav, which we have been conducting for last 17, 18 years. Last year we could not conduct in a May
Yes.
month. There
Yes.
was lockdown, and I'm hoping and praying that this year we'll be able to do
It will happen, ma'am. It will. It
We
will
normally start
happen.
first May, and temple should give us permission, and we
Yes.
should do it. So last year we couldn't do. Then I thought, okay, at least let me use my time to start writing about my dance journey and the journey of various festivals. So I
I
started a
know.
book. It's called Bringing Dance Back to Temples.
How sweet, bringing dance. I know, and I think I've also contributed an article for you in that. Let
Yes,
it come through.
everybody is contributing. Vinesh has contributed. You have
How
contributed.
sweet. So
Sangeeta,
many.
the
Ma'am,
coach
we
has-
just have 5 more minutes. That
Okay.
it's, no, but it's very nice. You know what I've done? This will be in 2 parts. Because the first part, because of some technical hitch you went, I have saved that also in our Insta. And this will also be saved after this. Ma'am, what do you, with your vast experience in all these, in arts, in administration, and as an author, as a social worker, being the founder trustee of the Equity, looking after 30 lakh women, what is your advice to everyone, ma'am, to youngsters especially? Ma'am, 1 minute. Vijaya Raghavan, excellent narration of the Kashyapa history. Chandra, Congrats to you, Shrikala,
He's
for
my
conducting
batchmate.
this.
He's my batchmate.
Oh, thank you, sir. Congrats to you, Shrikala, for conducting this program. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I know him from college in Delhi University. We used to travel in the same bus.
So sweet. But Vijay Raghavan, a South Indian name?
Yes, he has studied in that Madrasi school in Delhi. And
That's so nice of you, sir. That's very nice of you. And the way ma'am even narrated, I hope all of you, I think like me, all of you would have been so touched with all the points. Please go and get the Kinder version or even the other version which Garyali ma'am has told you all,
if
explained.
anybody wants a hard copy, I have got some hard copies with me. And if you take from me, then the money goes to our charity. I have started a charity for Kashmiri Pandits called Vidasta Welfare Fund. So if anybody wants hard copies, I have got few. I can give and money will go to charity.
That's very nice, my dear audience. Please take this point also. Hard copies are also there. The online e-copy is also there in the form of a Kinder version. And ma'am, as I told you, I would like you to give a message. It's not an advice. Whatever in your vast experience, because we should heed to such people like you.
Young people advisor. I think
No,
young people.
even to no, generally, ma'am, because you are a multifaceted. You're still, as I told you, you're working for so many, as a collector, as an author, as a art administrator, and administration, the public service. You've been in the government, and also you are taking care as a social worker, being, as I told you, the equities, where that you did not tell us about that. Could you tell just in 2 lines about that equities where 30 lakh women?
No, I am the trustee for Equitas Bank charity, because it gives micro credit to the women who want to do micro enterprises. The
Very nice.
flowers sellers. So we have given about 30 lakh women across India these micro loans, livelihood loans, and I try to do hand holding for them to see they are good, they are able to work properly. Now, recently we started giving to transgender also, and because we are from government and we always feel everything should be inclusive. So way back I had persuaded them to start lending to handicapped women. So we have crossed 50,000 handicapped women, out of which 9,000 are blind. And imagine they're earning a livelihood, they are having a micro enterprise. And Equitas Bank has got hundreds
of... Oh, it is Equitas. Okay. Okay.
It has got hundreds of national and international awards for giving inclusive credit to handicapped.
Very nice, ma'am. Very nice. See, you've seen everything and you've really been a giver of the moral strength or whatever. How you please tell us, and you've been an art enthusiast in the sense you've been a patron, you've encouraged, and you've been really a support. Could you kindly tell us, even it's a good information even for me, like artist, okay, whatever you want, to the public people, the administrative section, the art section, and the humanities. What would you like to say?
About art?
Art, okay. Let us take art.
Art is the soul of a place, Sometimes people tell me, Arey, what is the social work you are conducting? Dance festival? What is this? You feed people, you do this. We do that also. We have a charity. But I say that keeping culture alive is very important, because culture can make not people criminals. Culture can make you values. Culture can stop crime. Culture can stop rapes. Culture can stop law and order problems. The casteism, the discrimination. It's very, very important. It's a great social service.
It teaches you a lot of discipline, ma'am, culture.
Heard criticism from people saying, why this? Why go after the... We do that also. I'm not saying we're not doing. But I think this is also very, very important to keep a generation sane keep a city sane, keep a city in order.
Fantastic, ma'am. Fantastic. Fantastic. And for the to become an IAS officer, those aspirants, what would you like to say to them?
Work hard. Work hard.
Ma'am,
Don't give
hard
up.
work must be in everything, ma'am.
Work hard and don't give up. That's all. Follow
Very
your
nice.
heart.
Very nice. So, my dear audience, thank you to have been such a wonderful audience to my dear respected Garyali ma'am. And ma'am, thank you. It's a great honor to me and to our Tejas to have had you and you to have just over a phone call to accepted to be our Instagram guest here this Saturday. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you and my best wishes to you and seek your blessings as always. Thank you, ma'am.
See you all of you. I want to see all of you on Basant Utsav first Bay inauguration, and probably God, everything goes well this year. Will honor Jigyasa Giri, our own
How
homegrown.
sweet. Very nice. Yeah, because it was Bharatanatyam means this Kathak will be very good. A very good choice, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah.